Okay, so let me share my screen. We are going to talk about the midterm project. Okay, so, and I'm going to change the due date for this. In fact, let me do that right now. And Zoom, I've learned I need like 3 computers on at one time. So I like to give everyone extra time for this because it seems to be a little bit more challenging. So I usually give you an extra 2 days. So I'm gonna make it due the 20th. And then, so I'll fix the due dates right now. So it is kind of one of these things where you have to make sure you do each piece. So you're gonna pick 2 goals per disorder. So you've got hearing impairment, stuttering, executive functioning. So you're going to pick 2 goals for each disorder. So you're going to have a total of 6 goals. And then 2 activities to address each goal. So you've got 1 goal, 2 activities, 1 goal, 2 activities. The next disorder, one goal, 2 activities, 1 goal, 2 activities. So, and when I say activities, so what I'm looking for is just an activity you might do to address that goal. So a lot of people are like, oh gosh, this is the whole, it's sort of like a session plan. It's kind of like a, what we would call more of like a treatment plan. So I've got these 2 goals I'm working on. What are 2 activities I could do to address each goal? So when you start treating clients, this is kind of what you do. You're gonna have a list of goals and what are some activities that you can do in each session to address the goal. So this is what you will do on a regular basis. So in fact, my SLPA, she just texted me tonight. And we have an intern actually from Australia starting tomorrow too. And, you know, she was like, okay, what do you want me to get ready? And we have another group who's returning back to school. So we get to see them in person and not virtually. And so she was already thinking about some activities to get started, just because we got to see them right when we walk through the door tomorrow. So it gets a little hectic. But as an SLPA, you won't be coming up with your own goals. Your supervisor will, but you'll be coming up with activities to address the goal. So a lot of times if you get stuck, of course, your supervisor will give you ideas. And if you really aren't sure, I mean, truly, what a lot of us do if we don't know, we start looking at the internet. But if you really are completely at a blank as to what to do to address the goal, please, you know, send me a message, because that's what you will do as a SLPA all the time. In fact, we have this one goofy goal for this kid, and I don't like the goal. It's not my goal, and it's a goal we like inherited from somebody else. And I understand why the SLP wrote it, but I just don't like it. And so we were talking about how to address this goal. And so if you're really not sure, please reach out. So this is what you'll do on a regular basis. This is pretty much, you'll get a client, you'll see their goals, and you got to start working with them. So a lot of times, like somebody asked, do you only work on 1 goal? Typically speaking, no. We might, in outpatient therapy, we're doing usually 3 or 4 goals at the same time. We might only be targeting 1 or 2 per session, but you know, in a school base, there might just be 1 goal, but there's usually other skills we are targeting within that goal, kind of some benchmarks to meet the goal. So typically we're not usually ever just working on 1 thing. So that's another thing too, until you start doing it, that's hard to apply. So really all you need to do is pick 2 goals per disorder and then put 2 activities. So any questions about that? Like I said, tonight won't be too long. And I'm giving you guys more time, so I'll update due dates too. Hold on, I need to let somebody in. Hopefully they're in. Okay, yeah, what's your question? If you have questions, you can type them or just share out loud.
Hear me?
I can't hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So my question is, it's pick one goal and two activities. So am I filling out two lesson plans for the one goal in each activity, or can I do the one lesson plan for the one goal and the two activities?
Yeah, so basically you put the one goal and then the two activities, and then the one goal and the two activities on those two different forms.
Okay, so it's going to be then two lesson plans.
Yeah, and yeah, so if you look at how it's, I need to put a new form. Hold on, I'll update the form for you. So basically what I'm looking at, do you have the activities that address the goal and all the things that go with it? So a lot of people get overwhelmed a little bit, and I'll put a blank one. I thought I had a blank one up here, but let me look real quick. This is one that another therapist used. There we go. There's a blank one. I don't like this. First of all, I like session plan, not lesson plan. We always get in that semantic debate too with some of the other adjunct. So yeah, this is the one you fill out. So if you put the goal, so this is what I want to say. Some people put the goal, the two activities. Some people like to just put the goal on one page, two activities, like goal, two activities, goal, two activities. Really, however the formatting works for you. I'm not too concerned about the formatting. I'm just concerned, you look at a goal, can you come up with two activities? And what are some things you might need to do to address that activity? What are the materials you might need? What are some things to make it easier and harder? So these are all things that you have to do as an SLPA. You come up with an activity to address a goal and then how to adjust if it's going, too easy or too hard. So that's really what I'm looking for. Some people put it all on one page. I think that's a lot of like typing that's hard to see. So it's really up to you guys. Usually somebody just puts the goal, and I usually alter it. I'll put another one up that I like a little bit better. It's all the boxes in here. I usually just take the boxes out because I think that makes it harder for people to put it in there because they want to make it fit the box. And really it can be bigger or smaller as needed. So yes, so each disorder, pick a goal and two activities. So each disorder has two goals and then two activities to address each goal. So a total of 2 goals, 4 activities per disorder. Is everyone clear? I'll put that in the announcements again too to make sure it's clear. Any other questions? All righty. And if you're stuck or you're not sure or you're not even sure what the goal is, look at the goals again. I try to put a variety up there so you guys can choose some different things that you feel like you know how to target. And of course, when you start to get clients, this gets a little bit easier because you have a person. These are just kind of arbitrary things. So yeah, it's just 3 disorder. I used to do 4, but it's just 3. We've made that change this past at the semester break over the summer. So it's just 3 disorders. And your 3 disorders that you have are, make sure, because I moved before I spout that off. Yeah, executive function, fluency, and then hearing impairment. So those are the 3 disorders. And then each disorder has 2 goals and then two activities that address each goal. So like I said, I'll post another one of these forms that I like a little bit better. It's similar. And what I'm looking for is just the content. So some people change it a little bit. Some people like it a little bit different format. I'm okay with that too, as long as each component's in there. So again, you'll find too, as you work with different therapists, that we all have different idiosyncrasies and we like things different. So everyone does kind of operate a little different. So this is also too, you'll kind of see, yeah, go ahead, please. So 3 disorders.
Okay, so it's the 3 students, not 4. Okay, got that. Thank you.
Yep.
Another thing is, I heard you at the beginning say that you were going to give us a little bit more time. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I walked away in that. Well, my daughter
Oh,
interrupted me,
yeah.
so I didn't get to hear like how much more time we're going to have.
Oh, October 20th. What's the Wednesday? October, what did I say? October 20th? Is that Tuesday? That's next Tuesday. Yeah. So October 20th, you'll have to get them all in. And that way it gives me, because a lot of people do sometimes ask for feedback. So I try to be on top of my messages and get back to you guys in a timely fashion. But if you're feeling like you need more time for this particular thing, please reach out to me. I feel like sometimes people really stress and make this harder. I mean, it takes some thought and effort, but I'm not looking for super elaborate things. I'm just looking, hey, so like, let me give an example. Let me go to goals for hearing impairment. Okay. So when you go scroll down here, um, so we're looking at the student will monitor his or her own amplification function. So a lot of times too, when we're working with hearing impairment, we're really trying to help them manage their own equipment. So what are 2 activities I might do to address this goal? I don't particularly like that goal, so I might go down here. Um, Student will develop improved vowel discrimination and identification across a variety of settings. So what's an activity I can do for vowel discrimination? So, I might pick 2 word lists, work on those vowel, or I might pick their vocabulary words with some vowel differences for vowel discrimination. I might do maybe even like some vowel families, long A versus long E, something like that. And, I might do an activity with just where they have to identify the correct vowel. Like, okay, you're listening for the long E sound. I might, read 2 lists of words and they're just identifying. So we're just working on the identifying piece. And then the next activity might just be that they're able to indicate different vowel when someone's reading out loud. So like it might just be more in sentences. So, okay, raise your hand instead of at the word level, raise your hand when you hear a long E, a word with a long E. So kind of making it more difficult in connected speech versus just wordless. So wordless is kind of the first step, and then in sentences is kind of the next step. So look at, there's a lot of things. This came out of a audiology textbook that had just some good goals that you'll see pretty often, especially in a school-based setting. Clinic-based also, these a lot of times apply. We're working on sound discrimination. We're working on them using their amplification, knowing their amplification. And what you'll see too is that a lot of times they don't want to use their amplification. So that becomes a problem. So we have to address that in kind of all different ways. So those are some goals. Let's look at executive function.
Can I ask you a real quick question about the goals?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we are using the sample lesson plans that you provided that have the little square boxes, it seems like that's a really small space for us to write like the whole goal and the whole objective. Do you want us to do like goal 1, objective 3, or do you want us to actually try to type in that whole goal and the whole objective in those squares?
Oh, okay. So that's why I said I don't like that form, because everyone gets caught up with the squares. So if you type in it, there should be, 1 second, make sure there's a doc of that. Yeah, you should be able to type it and make it as big as you need it to be. So I do want to see the goal, put the whole goal that you're addressing in there. Because so that's why I said I don't like the boxes in there, because everyone thinks they need to stay. So I have one without the boxes that I'll post because everyone gets caught up with the boxes for whatever reason. But you can type in that if you use the Word doc one. And some people put it in a Google Doc too. I personally despise all things Google, so I refuse to use a Google Doc. I'm trying to get on board with it, but you know, and then it never, like, if somebody tries to share it with me, I never, so please just, if you do it in a Google Doc, download it as a PDF and then upload it, please. I meant to put that in the directions too. So yeah, if you make it in a Google form or Google Doc, just save it as a PDF and then upload it onto for your assignment. So
Okay.
yeah.
Can I ask you one more thing?
Sure.
Can the last box says data collection?
Mm-hmm.
What exactly, what do you want that to look like? Because some of these are kind of like, I'm trying to think, how am I going to collect data?
Okay, so we haven't really talked a whole lot, and you talk about data collection more in a different class. I can't think of 217, I think, and another one that Amy Hill teaches. So a couple different things. So if you look at the goal, so let's take the vow discrimination goal I just gave as an example. So if you look at the vow discrimination goal, what am I targeting? How many times they got it right? So it might just be like tally marks plus minus. I'm gonna add up all the ones they got right. So usually what you do is you add up how many they got right versus how many they get wrong to get a percentage. But for me, what are some other things I need to pay attention to? So I might also just make notes, hey, they seem to really struggle with the particular sound. So usually what I say is, you know, I'll get percentage of right versus wrong in the drill task. And then also maybe I'll note, I usually make a note. So usually I always put in, what did I notice was difficult or what did I notice was easy for them sometimes. So I usually just put something like, you know, I'll add up plus and minuses for number correct versus incorrect. That's probably all I'm really looking for. But usually what I do want you to be thinking about is, what am I really collecting? Like, do I really care that this person struggled with E? No, I want to see from my SLPA, hey, did you notice something about why this person struggles with E? Did you notice something about why they struggle with this particular skill? Because usually that's the art of therapy. So usually what I'm more interested in is a note as the, you know, can I identify where the breakdown occurs? Or I look at when you do real data collection. So let's say you did that goal, you kept it and you kept the data like number right versus, you know, correct. You got a percentage. Okay, so so-and-so got 66% correct. But what does that, what does 66% tell me? It tells me, okay, they're really good at this, but this is where they're still struggling, or they're struggling at multi-syllable words, or they're struggling at, so data collection, really what I'm looking for is, do you know what you're gonna write? What are you actually targeting? But in true data collection, which is what I'm talking about now, really what that percentage is significant to me is, can I find the breakdown? Hey, one syllable words, they're really good. They can discriminate vowels, but when it's two syllable words, they can't do it. That's more of what the data I truly need as far as how do we help this person get better at a particular skill. So data collection is kind of that thing that's kind of out there. You're not really sure. And if you need help with that, please reach out. What I'm really looking for is, what are you going to write down? Are you going to write down number correct? Are you going to write down how many trials they did? Are you going to write down how many prompts? Usually you mark how many prompts somebody's required. Yes, so it's 6 activities total. Is that what you're asking? Hold on, sorry, I read that really quick. Yeah, and I'll put an announcement again to make sure everyone's clear on that. Yeah, it's a total of 6 goals and then 2 activities per goal. Yes, 2 per disability. Yeah, 2 goals per disability and then 2 activities to address each goal. I know it gets, I should just make it easier, but really the activity shouldn't take you too long. So, you know, what's an activity you could do to target that goal? Now, again, sometimes people pick obscure goals that they can't quite wrap their head around. Pick a different goal that you think is easy. Yes, one goal, 2 activities, but each disability has 2 goals. So that's truly what you guys will do day in and day out as an SLPA. So for instance, in like a clinic-based setting, usually I'll have 12 goals. Now, am I just going to target one goal for a period of weeks? No. We're going to target 2 or 3 different things each session, hopefully. And then school-based, I might just have one goal on the IEP, but usually we're targeting other things too, rather than just one goal. So, for instance, I might be working on somebody doing expected versus unexpected behaviors. Do they understand what that is? There's a lot of other precursor skills that build up to that goal. So, like I said, this is a little bit harder for you guys because you guys haven't really talked a whole lot about data collection. And really what I'm looking for instance, in our tickets, really easy. We're looking for percentage correct. Some of these other goals, not so much. So for instance, I want to see if somebody can sequence a task. So the activity might be, I give them 3 different choices of tasks and let them, you know, pick which one they want to do and can they sequence. So the activity might be, can they sequence, I don't know, a daily living task, like making a sandwich or cleaning the kitchen or something. So let's say we're going to make a sandwich. We're going to have them load a dishwasher and we're going to have them fold some laundry. So those might be the 3 things I'm going to do to target that. And what am I going to write down? I might write down in that data collection where the breakdown is occurring, where are they needing prompts? Because a lot of times they'll be like, nope, they couldn't do it. So the data is 0. But the more relevant data is, okay, where did the breakdown occur? Why was it 0? What other help did they need? Or, hey, they did it perfect if I gave them this prompt or this cue. Or, hey, if we wrote a checklist, they could follow it and they were 100%. But they couldn't do it without the checklist. So some of that data is more relevant depending on the task and the activity. So just do your best. I rarely mark you down for data collection. What I just want to see is, did you put some thought and effort into what you're actually paying attention to? So what are you going to report back to your supervisor? That's what I'm looking for in data collection. I'm not looking for elaborate forms or all of this queuing system. As you work with your supervisor, you guys will develop that. And each supervisor obviously operates a little bit different. But just thinking about what is the relevant information my supervisor is going to need. We're doing this goal. I'm doing this activity. What is the purpose? You know, what do I need to note? So that's kind of where it does get a little bit more vague. Like I said, our TIC data is really easy to kind of know what you got to collect, but some of these other goals are much, much, much more obscure and harder. So if you need help, I can do that. Yeah, I'll put up a new form. I feel like everyone gets all weird about the boxes, but I know I have one. And I hate when sometimes when we re-up these courses that some of the new things don't always stay in them. So I'll post that tonight. Any other questions? So activity wise, again, I'm not looking for super elaborate things. I'm just, can you put some thought and effort into what you need to get ready for a session? Like I said, like in the other class, we did expressive or receptive language activity session plan. Okay, what are some things I might need? Okay, I want to work on stories. Okay, so I need a book. I might need visuals that go with the book. I might need some other visual cues, you know, beginning, middle, end for clients, those kinds of things. So executive function disorder, I think those are a little bit harder. So if you need some support on that, let me know. Because a lot of times what we're doing is really more objective or observational data. We set up usually some scenarios and then they gotta have to perform within that, and then we can help them with the breakdowns. So executive function can be a little bit more challenging versus fluency, where we're practicing a fluency skill. So again, reach out to me if you need help and support. And again, I'm not looking for something super sophisticated. I'm looking, can you pick a activity to target a goal? That's really the purpose of this. So, any other questions?
Yes. What kind of time frame are we looking at on these sessions? Like, are they one-on-one or group? Just in general.
Oh yeah. Well, in your real life, they could be both. What I'm looking for, one-on-one, basically, you're working one-on-one with this client. What are you doing? And what I'm looking for is just an activity. Think like 10 minutes. It's not necessarily a whole session. What we're looking for is, can you come with just an activity to target a goal? So a lot of times we might do 3 or 4 activities within a session, especially in clinic-based, because you have them usually for almost an entire hour. So it gets really boring if you're just doing one thing. So I usually like to, when I was doing clinic-based or home health, I like to pick 3 different activities I know to target some of their goals, and then you go from there. And so I'm thinking 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And sometimes what you find is you think something's going to take 5 minutes and it actually takes 20. I mean, that's the reality of things, but I'm just looking for, can you pick a activity to target the skill? That's really the purpose of this. It's not so much, I'm not looking for 45 minutes of things to do. I'm just looking for 2 activities that may take 5, 10 minutes, maybe 20, maybe 30 minutes on a bad day, who knows? But I'm just really looking for, did you come up with 2 activities that address the goal? Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, these sessions is basically think one-on-one with a person. Reality might be you are working in a group in real life, but for now, just think one person, one at a time, you and the client, what are you able to do with them? Especially like fluency. So fluency is hard in that it's really hard to do certain activities for a long period of time. So I usually look at 5-10 minute target. And hearing impairment is a different kind of disability too. So that might take 2 minutes, that can take 20 minutes. It just depends. Any other questions? But I'll post a new form for you guys. Sorry, I thought that was up there. But you guys are doing really well. I have not, I don't think I have all the grades quite updated yet, but I'm close. So I will work on that this week. But thank you guys for asking questions, because I'm sure somebody else also has the same questions. And then that's always helpful. So I appreciate you taking the time to ask the questions. And that'd be all. Any other before we check out tonight? But I'll make an announcement, make sure everything is clarified for everybody.
Well, I have a question about 212. I was listening earlier, but I was with people and couldn't talk. I still don't